Your Highness, this is Dr. Smith with the Delta Institute. It's an honor to address you regarding the proposed joint venture with Delta. I look forward to meeting you in person at your earliest convenience. I could certainly meet with you on Friday if you're available. During my discussion with Dr. Safa, it became apparent to me that we share a common vision from the standpoint of really wanting to change the world. And over the past 18 years, you could say that I've spent my life under a microscope. If it's not under a microscope, it was at least in the lab or in some type of clinical setting where I spent the vast majority of my time researching disease at the level of the root cause or at the level of causation. And this is fundamentally different than the path that the mainstream medical culture has pursued, which has been a path wholly focused on addressing symptomology, not cause, but symptomology. And during that time, I've made some very profound discoveries. I've identified a common link that we believe to be the causative agent of over 37 different conditions. My treatment protocols are now being utilized in 22 countries, and that's just over the past 12 months. It's spreading very quickly because people want answers. And I'm not one to use a word like revolutionary lightly and without much reflection, but I can confidently state that based on the unprecedented outcomes that we've seen in this vast host of chronic pathologies, that these treatments will in fact revolutionize the medical culture. They will change the face of medicine forever. And under the direction of Your Highness, the Royal Hospital will become what I would envision as the hospital of the future, if you will. It will become a beacon of light to the medical community, and I know that sounds somewhat cliche-ish, but it's a fact. I can now make a fairly bold claim with this regard, and the reason is, number one, the rest of the medical community really is in no position to compete with our model. Our model is a disease model of causation where we actually fix the problem and not just address symptomology. We're producing curative outcomes, and not just in one condition. We're talking cardiovascular disease, rheumatoid arthritis, type 2 diabetes, various malignant conditions. As I mentioned, over about 37 different pathologies to date. We have a competitive advantage that they do not enjoy. And in addition to that, we're able to capitalize on what we could consider a high rate of dissatisfaction of the healthcare consumer at large. People are just disgusted with the lack of results that they're getting, and they're getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're getting sicker and sicker from the medications, while, as you know, the medical community is getting richer and richer from the sale of pharmaceuticals. Number two, because we're producing results that are highly impactful, that are life-changing. Okay, we've seen people literally rise from their deathbed. Some would say that the results that we're seeing are quite shocking. They actually have shock value. And because of that, we can tell a story. We can tell a story that no one else can tell. And through our media company, Delta Media Works, we can tell a story that will really shock the world. And we're in the process of doing that now. We're in the process of producing a documentary, several other pieces on the BX protocol, on the various technologies associated with that, the very technologies that I would anticipate bringing into your facility. And at this very moment, we're probably 60% done with the current documentary. And this is what I'm going to propose. I propose that we make you the central figure in that story. And when I say story, if we're asking what the story is, this is the story that I envision telling. The story of His Highness laying the foundations within the medical world that will change the world. It will be a story about the Sheikh having the vision to see beyond the boundaries of the current medical model. And when history is rewritten, I suspect that they will probably say that the Sheikh was among the most influential people that actually brought about an entirely new medical paradigm. that he took a stand, and he took a stand against all odds, that he took the Middle East in a whole different direction and the world followed. That's what I envision. Now, some may think that these are lofty aspirations or lofty projections, but there is a key ingredient that makes their accomplishment feasible, and that is the story can't just sound good. It actually has to be true. It has to work. People have to actually get better, and they are, and they will at the Royal Hospital. Our initial documentary will be an open access documentary, a media piece that will be viewed in 22 countries initially, but primarily through social media, through internet campaigns, internet marketing campaigns that will put it into a very large viewership right out of the gates, telling the story of the Sheikh and his hospital, Delta's existing doctor, or what we call an affiliate doctor network, and we have a pretty substantial network now internationally. That network will be instrumental in spreading the story of the Royal Hospital. And I think the only problem that we will probably encounter at some point is that we'll have a waiting list that'll be quite substantial. But that's a good problem to have. With an effective outpatient program, I think we can minimize some of that or maximize our efforts in a manner that ensures long-term profitability. Your Highness, I understand that you're in the process of leaving the country, that you're going to leave the country on Saturday for the next couple of weeks. As I mentioned, I'd be more than happy to meet with you on Friday. I can leave here on Wednesday, be in Dubai on Friday. If you have some time, even if it's brief, to meet, I'd be glad to do so. And then Safa and I can continue some strategic planning items, and the team can then get together and have some time, some needed time to perform some strategic planning where we can properly analyze the immediate strategic needs of the organization. And my interest would be in really having a good solid foundation in formulating a long-term strategy that will enable us to implement an operational plan, which will then enable us to move forward. But I really look forward to meeting you in person in order to achieve a better understanding of the basic objectives of the organization. I think I have a pretty good feel for it now, but we'll need to really understand the resources that will need to be allocated to accomplish the strategy. But it's a great pleasure, Your Highness, to be able to address you. I'll look forward to touching base with you very soon, and hopefully this Friday. Talk to you soon.